So you want to invest in the metaverse, but you don't know too much about stocks and you don't really want to throw your money at every cryptocurrency that's going to the moon. So what are your options? Well, today in this video, I'm going to be telling you about the Metaverse ETF. Let's talk. So what is the metaverse? So you can think of it as the internet that's brought to life, or in 3D anyways. And Mark Zuckerberg likes to describe it as the virtual environment where you can go inside of instead of just looking at it on the screen. It's a combination of multiple elements of technology, including virtual reality, augmented reality, and video where users can live inside the digital universe. Now in this video, I'm just going to bring to light for education purposes an ETF that has a collection of stocks that are partaking in the metaverse or plan to, or somehow it's related to the metaverse. Now, Roundhill Investment has a ETF, an exchange traded fund, with the ticker symbol META. Can it get any better? Meta. And it trades on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, the management expense ratio for the Meta ETF is right now standing at 0.75%. That means for every $1,000 that you spend, you're paying about $75 for their fee. That fee goes to the investment company, Roundhill Investments, to manage the actual ETF. Now, that's not too bad. That's pretty good considering that when you compare it to mutual funds, you're paying upwards towards like 2 or 3%. Versus an index fund, of course, if you invest in the S&P 500, you're probably paying like 0.07% instead of 0.75. So it is more than the typical index fund, but much less than your mutual fund. Now, when you look at their top 10 holdings, what you'll notice is NVIDIA makes up about 9.68% of the entire ETF. And then you have Roblox, Microsoft, Unity, Meta platforms, of course, that's Facebook, and Autodesk, Amazon, Tencent, Qualcomm, Sea Limited. They have other stocks as well, like Alibaba and Square. So you might be asking yourself, so what do stocks like Alibaba or Square have anything to do with the metaverse? It's done in such a way that they are also putting in stocks that they think might have something to do with the metaverse at some point in the future. Now, when you break down the different type of industries that they're actually invested in, what you'll see is that just less than 20% is in gaming platforms, just less than 20% is in computing components, and just about 18-19% is in cloud solutions, and about 11-12% in social networks, and 30% in others. Now, let's talk about growth potential. Now, when you have a company like Facebook, or what it's now called Meta, investing billions of dollars into making products and devices for consumers to use to enter into the metaverse, and for consumers to use to seamlessly integrate the metaverse into their everyday lives, then you're going to have a huge growth of a bunch of other companies coming in, and pretty much Facebook now taking over this whole industry. But the way I see it, I wouldn't be focusing on the future growth potential, but instead right now I'd be focusing on, okay, what are the companies that this ETF has invested in, and how are these companies doing right now? So what am I talking about? So usually when I this is my personal opinion, this is how I invest, and it's not how I'm telling you to invest. You can invest the way you want to, right? Because I'm not a financial advisor, but the way I do it, I just take an average of all of these companies and see how they're doing. Are they extremely overvalued, right? Because there's some stocks out there like Lucid Motors who pretty much makes $0, yet they're considered a $1 billion company. That is clearly overvalued, and at any point in time they can just crash. And I don't want to be putting my money into a stock like that. So when I'm looking at ETFs, what I do is I look at the collection of stocks and I say, okay, how much revenue do the entire like top 10 or all of the holdings make combined together? Now that will help me gauge a few things. So one is, well, are the companies overvalued that this ETF is investing in? Yes or no? And number two is, based on the companies that they've invested in, are they actually pretty big companies that are doing innovative things and continuing to grow? And the way I see it, yeah, they are, right? They're invested in companies like Microsoft, NVIDIA, Facebook, or Meta, and even Alibaba and Square. Like, these are pretty like these are considered high growth companies, and they're not low cap stocks or even mid cap stocks. Majority of these companies are are mega cap or large cap stocks. So there's a lot more safety when you're investing money in a mega cap or a large cap stock compared to a stock that is a low cap stock, because the growth potential there isn't reliable really. But then a company like Facebook has more than 5 years of history, so you can look at their history and see how much money they were making in the last 5 years. Has their revenue been consistently growing, right? And then you can do the same with all of the other companies, and then you can have an idea of, okay, you know what, if the top 10 holdings in the last 5 years, if they've been growing every single year, then there's a pretty good chance that the next year there's also going to be a similar amount of growth. Like if the growth was 10% a year or 15% a year, I could assume just based off of that 5-year information that the next year they're going to grow about 15%. And based off of that, that's going to give me conviction to buy the Meta ETF and then have my money in there and not worry too much about it, because markets go up and down. Or when you buy an ETF, it's going to go up and down. But the point of buying an ETF is because you don't want to risk your money all into one specific stock. The point of doing that is to keep yourself diversified and then have a basket of stocks, in one industry. That's what you're trying to do. So you can, instead of taking a gamble on one specific stock without knowing too much about it, you can just be diversified within that entire industry. Not only that, but on the fund fact sheet itself, it says that 91% of the entire fund is actually invested in stocks that are large cap or higher. Only 4% is mid caps and another 4% is small caps. So right there, that gives me a lot more conviction into how safe this ETF is. Now, when we're looking at institutional interest, ARK Research estimates that revenue from virtual worlds could approach $400 billion by 2025. And the Bloomberg Intelligence believes that the market opportunity for the metaverse can reach up to $800 billion by 2024. Again, the more conviction you have in something, the longer that you're willing to hold it and the more consistently you're willing to invest. Now, if I were to invest in this ETF, the way I would do it is simply by dollar cost averaging, because it's going to take me too much work to look at each individual stock that this ETF is holding and then find out what the PE is and find out how much the revenue, altogether is and how well the company is doing. It's just easier to say for me, you know what, I like this industry, I want to make sure that I'm a little bit invested in it, so I'm just going to dollar cost average. I can say that. So what does that mean? That means you're regularly investing a small amount of money every single month for a certain period of time. Let's say it's a 3-year period or 4-year period, because you know what, the Bloomberg Intelligence says, by 2024, it could reach up to $800 billion, this entire market. So great, I'm going to give that a shot. And for the next 3 years from now until 2024, I'm just going to dollar cost average a reasonable amount every single month. And by doing that, I get an average cost basis instead of me just dumping in money. Because there's a chance that you could today buy at a high price. And to avoid that, if you don't want to do any work, the simplest thing to do is just dollar cost average. Now, that being said, are there other ETFs? Well, they're in the works. In Canada, there's already Evolve Investments who has filed for a metaverse type ETF. It's coming out soon, but it's not out yet. And of course, because Mark Zuckerberg released the news of how Facebook is changing their entire company towards making products for the metaverse, there's going to be a bunch more investment companies that are going to be coming out with ETFs. I'll be sure to make videos of that in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Please go ahead and like this video. It really does help for the YouTube algorithm and it helps me out a lot. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in this channel as soon as I can. I'm trying to pump out a video every single day, so it would be very, very helpful. So please like this video, hit that thumbs up, and hit that subscription button, and please also hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video from me. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.